Yeah. What did it feel like when you quit Harley? Did you feel like you were like a little bit scared? Because I'm thinking that's a corporate world. You're in the financial industry. That's a lot of money, I'm guessing, right? And then you you leave, and then you do this herpetologist, and did I say it right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. And then you get into the modeling full time and OnlyFans full time, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of like
a lot of risk.
Yeah, a lot of risk for sure. So how did that make you feel?
Oh, it felt fucking good.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so Harley was just too much. Like, I worked my ass off for about 2 years or so, 2.5 years, I'd say. Absolutely working my ass off to like be a fantastic finance manager. And I got lots of people on motorcycles that should not have been. And then even when I got to Harley, I got a lot of people to buy back end products that probably did not need to. And like,
what do you mean by that? Like accessories and stuff, or aftermarket parts?
Yeah. Like when it came, not an aftermarket parts, but like Gap and like warranties, like all that silly little stuff, because they mark them up ridiculously.
Yeah, you
like,
can get that shit. Yeah.
Like, be fucking for real. You really think that like a warranty for a Harley Davidson should be more than $2,000?
Fuck no.
It's a motorcycle. Yeah. Absolutely not. But it's a Harley, so you can tell it that way. When someone's buying a $40,000 motorcycle, like $2,000 doesn't sound that bad all of a sudden.
Yeah. And the fear of like laying down your baby is a big one too.
Well, the irony is like even if you lay your bike down, your warranty's not going to cover it.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing that's going to cover that.
But I mean, if you were to wreck it, though, then Gap would technically cover that.
Gap's like the only thing if you ever buy a motorcycle you should get. Yeah. Like a warranty will be helpful depending on the type of bike that you get. But motorcycles are so low maintenance. The only one that really needs it is like a Harley, honestly, because there's so much more that goes into their engine and build as opposed to like sport bikes. Yeah. But like 90% of bikes just need Gap. Just get Gap. That's all you need. Yeah. Because it's more than likely either going to get stolen or if it gets into an accident, they're more than likely just going to say it's totaled because the amount that costs to fix a motorcycle compared to the value of it, like just save yourself a headache, get Gap.
So can you tell us some more industry like secrets when it comes down to like financing a vehicle? Like technically financing a motorcycle is the same thing as financing a car, right?
Yeah. It's just like, okay, what people don't understand when it comes to motorcycles is they're luxury items. Like the thing I'd always used to explain to my customers is like, you can sleep in your car, you can sleep in a house, you can sleep in an RV and even a boat. You can't sleep in a motorcycle. Yeah. So like the interest rate's going to be higher. Deal with it.
You can sleep by a motorcycle.
That's
on
true.
the side of the road.
Yeah, you can
I hope it doesn't rain.
Just get a tent, just pick it up.
How are you going to put a fucking tent on a motorcycle?
Oh, it's a Harley.
I mean, to be fair, Harleys do have options like that, but I mean, nonetheless.
I'm trying to think, like, even a
You just have a little tent, like, rolled up, and you just strap it to the back seat,
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then you just pop it in. You're not going to have, like, a luxurious tent where you can fit, like, 5 people in there. It's going to be like that one teepee, like, it's just you in the cold, like, in a sleeping bag.
It's you in a fucking towel. It's what it is. It's you in a towel on a stick, like one of those hobo.
Yeah, you're like, fuck me.
But, like, the only tip is literally you're buying a toy. Yeah. Like, it's going to be cheaper. Insurance is going to be cheaper. Always, always, always with your insurance, get uninsured, underinsured. Because people like to hit and run motorcycles constantly. So like make sure your insurance covers you. Gap insurance is a must, always on motorcycles. That's really it. Because like there's no tricks of like purchasing a motorcycle because everyone thinks that like the interest rates are so high and that's where they get you. And it's like, well, it's a luxury vehicle. The APRs are going to be higher. Yeah. So as long as you're like aware of that going into it, because you don't understand how many people came in being like, I just bought a brand new truck with 0 APR. And it's like, wow. You can live in that truck. You can't live in this toy. Yeah. Like a truck's a necessity, a motorcycle's not.
That's true.
A lot of people don't realize too is when you buy a luxury vehicle like that, your credit score jumps high. I remember when I first bought my motorcycle, that shit went from like 600 to like 650 in like 2 months or something like that. It was crazy.
It literally will like pull you back and like slingshot you forward. That's how I always explain to people because everyone's like, I bought this and my credit score went down. It's like, buddy, that's how credit works. You use your credit and then it builds back up. It's really stupid, but that's how it works.
Yeah, it's funny because it's true. Because we see it all the time too. Like when we're running credit for people who want to buy houses and shit, I'll be like, if you just keep the motorcycle, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'll just get rid of it. And I'm like, no. Keep that shit because your credit, like whatever you have a boat, that shit's going to skyrocket. You have a fucking motorcycle, that's going to skyrocket. You have a fucking jet ski, keep it. Like it'll just keep going up. Pay off all your other shit, like your credit card and all that. That shit needs to go. But your luxury vehicle, if you keep paying on it, you're fucking shit.
Yeah, because like the credit companies, they don't look at it as like a necessity, like you said. It's a leisure vehicle basically. Like if you can afford a leisure vehicle, they're expecting you to be able to afford a lot more.
Exactly. Yeah. So
But then I remember I learned the hard way. I paid it off too. My other motorcycle, I paid it off, and my credit score dropped. And I was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" But it's because it's a closed account.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the account's closed. And I was like, "Damn, I should have just kept paying the payments."
Which is like the dumbest thing in the world. Because if you literally like, there's no way to leave any line of credit that's like a vehicle open technically. Because at one point you're going to finish paying it off.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's so stupid. Once you finish it, they're like, psych, that's $650.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, you closed out your account. That's a credit account that you just closed. It's not existing anymore." It's like closing a credit card almost.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I was going to say that too. Whenever you make a full payment on your credit card, you don't get any credit for it at all. Like I do that every month, and I'm like, "What the fuck is my credit at 600, 650 right now?" It doesn't make sense. Like literally, I have no fucking debts besides some mortgages and stuff like that, but that should only boost me up, right? Yeah. And I'm like, my dad's like, "You're paying off your credit card every fucking month," and I'm like, oh,
I heard if you let the statement come out, then you pay it. If you let the statement come out, then you pay it off. Then it attacks to your.
Well, the other way is you pay. I think it's like 7 days before your actual due date.
Yeah,
because that's when the statement comes out. You pay half of it, and then when you pay 1 day before your due date, and you're good. That's how you build credit. So I've been doing double payments.
Oh, really? Oh,
I'll split it.
See, this is how I know everyone's like education for credit's different. Because I was taught to pay the day of the due date. So like the day that it's supposed to be, like the very first due date. If you pay it on that every single time, it'll be right.
What's your credit score, bro?
I don't think anymore.
780.
No, I wish. Trust me. It wasn't until I started working in finance, I finally started understanding credit more, being like, so this is why it's important.
It is.
But then at the same time, you see so many different credit reports. Like I've seen so many 700 pluses that literally I cannot finance anything to because they have no more income to use. Like people that have used and abused their credit. Like I remember I got into a fight with a guy one time because I couldn't get him approved. He had like a 700 plus, but he was already at his max like DTI, so debt to income. And essentially he's like, he would argue with me being like, I have a multi-million-dollar house. Like, what do you mean you can't get me finance? And I was like, ooh, boom, there it is. You have a multi-million-dollar house. You're at your max DTI, bro. I cannot get you financed.
Yeah.
And also, if you have a multi-million-dollar house, you can buy the $7,000 motorcycle cash.
Yeah.
Like, stop bitching at me.
So how did that work? Like when somebody like financed it through you versus like just paying out cash, do you lose profit when they buy cash?
No, not really. Like, if anything, we would make more off of cash because we didn't have to pay as much like into fees. Because at the first shop I worked at was a mom and pop shop. So a lot of the banks that I worked with had a lot of like lender fees and little things like that we had to use to work with them. And a lot of fees we'd have to pay back to them essentially.
Right.
But if I bought cash, then all they had to do was pay my fees. So like they might get a discount of like $500 to $1,000 maybe is at the time. However, that's about how much we had to pay in lender fees anyways. So it kind of balanced out. There wasn't really, they felt like they got a better deal that way. I mean, more logical, you're better off buying a motorcycle cash, honestly, than like financing it because the likeliness of it being stolen or being totaled before you're done with your finance time, then like you're kind of SOL.
I've never bought a brand new motorcycle ever. I've always bought like secondhand, used, just because I'm like, fuck that.
I mean, honestly, you're better off that way.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm guaranteed I'm gonna fucking drop this bitch in the next like couple of months if I ride it daily, right?
Pretty much.
Especially first time riders.
Oh, dude.
First time riders, man. You're gonna drop the bike.
Yo, guys, did you guys enjoy that clip? Watch the other clips. They're also really good. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, and if you hate them, if you like them, if you hate me, if you like me, comment that shit below, man. Watch the other clips. We appreciate you.
We at Sandy Lane, Ryan Barbados, smoking to get my chia.